Welcome to the Home and Energy Chats webinar series and our episode all about construction, carpentry, and building science education opportunities here in Maine. My name is Heather Chandler, and I am the owner and publisher of the Green and Healthy Maine Homes magazines. We have a fantastic presentation tonight, and I look forward to learning a little bit more about these great programs with you. I'd like to start with a thank you to our sponsors, including our season sponsor, Senecal Construction Services. They are now offering net zero ready design build packages in Pownell, conveniently located just minutes from Portland, Freeport, and Brunswick. And a word from our presenting sponsor, Royal River Heat Pumps.
Hi, I'm Scott Libby, owner of Royal River Heat Pumps. A long time ago, the Royal River, like most rivers, was an important part of life, powering mills and allowing a community to grow and flourish. Nowadays, we see what a river can help to create. We believe that ordinary people can come together to make a big difference too. This year, Royal River Heat Pumps will invest our advertising dollars into a new campaign we've launched called Ripple to River. Each month, we'll choose a different nonprofit organization whose focus is kids battling childhood illnesses. We'll tell you about their particular mission and let you know how you can help support them. We're also launching an online resource at rippletoriver.com, providing information and a link for donations. Little things can turn into big change. I'm Scott Libby from Royal River Heat Pumps in Freeport, and I hope you'll join us in making change happen for kids and families that are facing challenges that nobody ever wants to face. Visit rippletoriver.com to learn more and donate, and thank you.
All right, thank you to both of our sponsors this evening. And in just a moment, I will be introducing our three panelists. Before we do that, just want to go over a few logistical things. We will begin the webinar this evening with a presentation by each of our three panelists. And then we will be opening it up to a discussion with time for Q&A following that. So as I mentioned, if you do have any questions, feel free to add them using the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen, and we will do our best to get to them all this evening. And a reminder that the webinar is being recorded and will be posted to our website, greenmainehomes.com, later this week. If you are unfamiliar with us, Green and Healthy Maine Homes is dedicated to inspiring healthy, efficient, and future-ready Maine homes through our quarterly print magazine, the annual Green Home and Energy Show, which is coming up April 6th in South Portland. We also have an online directory to help you find Maine home professionals that specialize in creating healthy, efficient, and high-performing homes. So you can learn more about all of this at our website, greenmainehomes.com. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our panelists for the evening. First up is Christy Crocker, and Christy is the Executive Director of the Maine Indoor Air Quality Council, a nonprofit association dedicated to creating healthy, environmentally sustainable indoor environments through education, communications, and advocacy, a role that she has held for almost 25 years. She is a member of the Green and Healthy Maine Advisory Panel and writes the Indoor Air Corner column for the magazine as well. So we are so grateful to all that Christy contributes. So welcome, Christy.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Randy Rand, and Randy is Passive House Maine's training director, where he manages their statewide workshops, day-long sessions ranging from York to Presque Isle. He has 20 years of experience in the design, construction, and operation of many types of building styles all over the state of Maine. He received his Passive House tradesperson certification in 2022, and he enjoys working with and educating building owners, design professionals, builders, code officials on ways to improve the comfort, health, and durability of our buildings. Welcome, Randy. And last but not least, we have Anna Heath, and Anna is the director of We Built This, which is an inclusive carpentry workshop series providing engaging content taught by industry professionals across the state. In addition to organizing workshops, she also works for Maine Passive House in Bethel as a production manager and project manager. Anna piloted the first Passive House builder apprenticeship in the state of Maine and is motivated to provide more people access to the skilled trades. She hopes that the We Built This collaborations can inspire positive change in the construction industry and bring the community together to pass on skills. So welcome to all three of you, Christy, Randy, and Anna. I'm so happy to have you joining us tonight and to share some more information about your fantastic training programs. Before we launch into the presentations, just wanted to put a plug out there. We'd love for you to be thinking about whether there are any topics of educational programming that you would be interested in seeing from any of these organizations. We'd love to hear your input on that. So please feel free to put those in the Q&A. We actually don't have a chat feature working tonight, but you can just put that in the Q&A and we will capture that and share it with our presenters. So at this point, I am going to hand it over to Christy.
Thank you very much, Heather. I'm very pleased to be here to be able to share a little bit more about the Maine Indoor Air Quality Council and the trainings that we do both for professionals and for the public. And thank you, Rain, for advancing slides tonight. This wouldn't happen if little things like that weren't available. So if you would, Rain, if you could take it to the next slide. So just a little bit about the council. Heather's already read our mission statement to you, which you're also seeing it here. The council was formed in 1998 because of a growing recognition that there were things indoors that can make you sick. And nowhere have we really underscored that than during the years since COVID-19 has come onto the scene. And we all now recognize that there are things that we can't see and can't taste and can't smell, but yet we know they're there because they're making us sick. So the council was formed to be able to better address those indoor contaminants here in the state of Maine. And the types of common contaminants that we're seeing indoors, in addition to contagious illnesses and viruses, are things like mold and moisture, radon, carbon monoxide, other combustion pollutants, VOCs, particulate matter, pesticides, and believe it or not, people, because people are a creator of indoor air quality pollutants. So built right into our mission, and I've called it out here on this slide, is education. We do education of the public to help raise their awareness of things that are in the indoor space that might make them sick, with practical considerations for how they can reduce those risks in their own homes. We also do a lot of education for professionals who provide services to your built environments, either through new environments constructions or as well as in renovations of existing buildings. Our training initiatives do focus a lot on best practice strategies to design, construct, operate, maintain, investigate, remediate buildings of all types. We also focus on the health impacts of specific contaminants that are found in the indoor spaces. We do offer continuing education credits for everything we do. So regardless of what someone's profession is, if credits to help support your particular professional license or certification or what's needed, quite often we do offer those to help support who you are and what you do. Next slide, Rain. So the first Maine Indoor Air Quality Council training initiative that I'm going to sort of give you an overview of here this evening is our residential construction training series, which focuses on strategies to build a healthy, energy efficient home. And the four-part program focuses a lot on building science principles and how they're applied throughout the residential construction process. And the reason we do this is because building practices are changing all the time. We have new building codes and new building products and new construction techniques. So our four-part training series really is designed to help residential construction professionals get a foundation of knowledge that will help them be more adaptable to the new concepts and new practices and new products that come down the road. Because with our philosophy of how we're sort of handling the building science principles is if you really understand how air and moisture and heat move in and around a building, you can be very nimble and flexible in terms of applying those new practices and techniques to whatever type of construction that you happen to be working on. We also focus a lot on common indoor air quality contaminants and how to prevent them and address them. This training series does deal with both new construction and renovations. And it's really designed for residential construction professionals of all types. It's not just builders, but architects, engineers, real estate professionals, home inspectors, code officials, and more. And we get quite a few homeowners that do come to these trainings if they're either embarking on a home construction project of their own, or they happen to be working with a contractor already to do the design and construction of a new home or a big renovation. Understanding these principles and working with the contractor to make sure they're applied in their project can be really beneficial. We do also offer an optional certification. We have a certification exam, and certified professionals are listed on our website so that members of the public, if they're looking for someone who has a certification in building a healthy, energy efficient home, they can go to our website and find them. And, you know, sort of stepping away from that, our goal really is to have a home that is clean, dry, pollutant-free, pest-free, well-ventilated, well-maintained, comfortable, energy efficient, and easy to maintain. So that's the goal. It's like, I think it's the goal for everybody who's here. And next slide. So the training series is a 4-part series. We typically hold it over the course of a month with one session held each week. For 2024, however, we're mixing things up just a little bit. We're going to be pulling out that building shell session, and we're going to be taking it around the state with multiple presentations around the state. I don't have dates and locations for you yet, but they will be posted on our website when they are available. So we'll be dealing with the building science piece, practical strategies to apply to the building codes, various models of construction, and how you put that sandwich of the wall and roof system together so that you don't trap moisture in the wall system, which can lead to mold and building rot. Next slide, Rain. So the other sort of big certification course that we offer on a regular basis is a 3-day ventilation design and installation course. And we started doing these trainings last year. We've done 2 certification courses already. But the reason we started doing them is because we really recognize that achieving healthy indoor air quality in a home is a 2-part process. The first part is to make sure that you're doing what you can to reduce or eliminate the presence of indoor pollutants in your indoor space. And that's done by making product choices, changing what you use, how you use it, maybe not bringing in fabricated furnishings and fabrics that have chemicals and glues in them. You know, it's a whole variety of ways of things that we can do to reduce or eliminate the contaminant within our indoor space. But the second strategy to deal with those indoor contaminants, because there will be contaminants that are generated within the home. The second piece is really ventilation. Ventilation is the primary tool in both a homeowner's and a contractor's toolbox for making sure we have a pathway to get those contaminants out of an indoor space, as well as providing fresh air to the people indoors. And it's particularly important that we have that pathway going both indoors and outdoors when we have very tightly air-sealed homes, high-performance construction. We need to recognize we at least need to have a mechanical pathway of ventilation to allow for those pollutants to get outdoors where they can't harm the people, and where we're bringing in the fresh air the people need in order to be healthy and productive in their indoor space. So in this training, this is the first time here in Maine that any type of training like this has been offered. It is a true design and installation course. It is designed for builders, mechanical contractors, architects, and others who really want to dig in deep in how to design and install those balanced energy recovery ventilation types of systems. Attendees are going to get lots of case studies and design tips about how to install ERVs that function as intended. They get practice time learning how to select equipment, size the ducts, specifying installation and control details that satisfy both Maine's ventilation code, which is ASHRAE 622, as well as complying with a Canadian standard called the CSA F326, which you don't need to remember right now. But it is a standard that is available in Canada. It's mandatory, in fact, in all new residential construction in Canada. And we do actually now have it attached to Maine's building code as an alternative pathway for compliance for the ventilation standard of ASHRAE 622. So it's a really interesting program series. Attendees will get the certification exam and certification through HRAI. HRAI is like ASHRAE is in the United States. It's just Canadian. So it's a great standard and it's a great product. And we do have our first training dates, which it's not even in my slides because we just finalized it today. It's going to be March 27th, 28th, and 29th up at FW Webb's Training Center up in Bangor. So that's the first one. And we do anticipate doing at least 3 sessions of this course series throughout the year of 2024. Next slide, Rain. We also do 1- and 2-day conference events. We call it the Indoor Air Quality and Energy Conference. Those conferences are really meant to try to pull everything together. We really believe in the whole house concept and the building as a system concept because we recognize that building systems don't work in isolation from each other. So we try to bring that concept to bear within our 1- and 2-day IAQ and energy events. So you're likely to find design, construction, operations and maintenance, investigation, remediation, public health, energy efficiency, and more at each one of these sessions. We have exhibits, lots of networking opportunities and learning stations. And we bring in presenters from all over the country with a whole broad variety of backgrounds. It's a really great opportunity to learn various aspects of design and construction and how to put things together to make sure that we have healthy buildings for healthy people. Our next conference is going to be in the fall of 2024, possibly the winter of 2025. We're working right now on finalizing that facility choice. Next slide, Rain. We do several other small events, single presentation, live workshops, webinars. We also do IAQ Club discussion forums, which are like a book club, only instead of reading a book before attending the discussion forum, attendees watch a video or listen to a podcast or listen to an audio recording of a webinar that we do. And they've really turned into something very fun because we do an interactive quiz and we give out prizes, and it's really very fun. Next slide. So if you're looking for some of the things that we're doing and looking for dates and how to register, you always can find it on our website under the events section of our website. We do have a presence on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and Instagram. So feel free to try to find us there, follow us, like us. And always, always, always personal invitation from me to contact me anytime if you have any questions about the work of the Maine Indoor Air Quality Council or education opportunities that we're making available. Last slide, Rain. I couldn't resist just promoting our Indoor Insanity 5K. Yes, it's an indoor 5K. It's 25 of the happiest laps you will ever run, I promise. It's going to be on February 11th up in the spectacular new athletics and recreation facility up at Colby College in Waterville. It's family friendly. It's designed for both the elite runner and the recreational runner. And we also accommodate walkers as part of the event. And we do a kids fun run too. So just Google it, you will find it. We also have a presence on our website. So love to have you all there. Thank you, Rain, for advancing my slides. Thank you, Heather. And I look forward to seeing all of you at an upcoming Maine Indoor Air Quality Council event.
Thank you so much, Christy. And before we move on to Randy, I do have just one question for you. Maybe you said it and I missed it, but on the 4-part training series, how you said it's over a series of 4 weeks, and is it 1 day a week over 4 weeks, or what's the schedule for that?
Yes, each section is a 1-day event that we historically have done 1 day every week. And that makes it easier for especially for builders who are out in the field with projects, to be able to just set aside 1 day of the week. It doesn't involve the entire day. We also tend to try to do those in like the February, March, April window. We call that like our contractor training season, because it seems to be the best time for us to be able to do trainings for contractors when they can make that time available, especially if roads are posted and they can't get heavy equipment out on the roads. So
nice.
anyway.
Well, it's a fantastic resource. I know you've been doing that for many, many years, and people have really come to rely on it. So it's also exciting to hear a little bit more about the ventilation training program. I remember even in the last couple of years, hearing people lament the lack of trained ventilation technicians. So I think you're really helping to change that. So exciting to hear.
That's the dream right there. So we do have those professionals who've passed the certification exam also listed on our website. And I will also say, if anybody's disappointed about not being able to attend the residential construction training series in its entirety this year, we do have an online version of it that I can make available to people upon request.
Nice. How many people have gone through that ventilation training program? That's fairly new, right? In the last year?
The residential construction training program, we started
the ventilation one.
Oh, I'm sorry, the ventilation one. It's been a year since we did our first one. November of 2022 was our first session, and we did another one in May of 2023. So we're planning on doing 3 this year, because we absolutely believe that we need more professionals available so that ventilation becomes a first thing that people think of rather than an afterthought.
Yeah, we know that well. Thank you, Christy, for everything that you are doing. And at this point, we'll turn it over to Randy to tell us a little bit about the Passive House Maine programs.
Thank you, Heather. Thanks for having us. I am Randy Rand. I'm the training director with Passive House Maine. Passive House Maine is a nonprofit organization committed to decreasing carbon in the built environment. And we do that through education, advocacy, and just awareness. So this education piece and these trainings that we offer is one way that we're getting our mission and our information out to the public. I've been the training director here at Passive House Maine for a year. Prior to that, we had just developed a couple of our training programs. And all our training programs are made possible through the Harold Alfond Foundation, as well as a grant we've received from the Maine Energy Office and the Clean Energy Partnership. So that's how all our trainings are made available to everybody. So next slide. So what we offer, we have 3 standard programs that we offer for trainings. All our trainings are $25. They're a 1-day training. Usually we begin at around 9 and end around 3. We provide a lunch, and our goal is to bring the trainings to the builders and to the people that are interested in it. So last year we held 25 trainings all over the state. You can see the map there. We've done from York to Presque Isle, Machias, and all over the place, plus everything in between. So our goal is to bring our training to those areas. So that was last year. This year we have 9 trainings already on our schedule. And those were just released this week. So you can follow that QR code there and it'll take us directly to our training page. So if you wanted to jump right over to that and take a look at what we got. So our main program that we run is Meeting Maine's Energy Code. So this training program is focused on updating everybody in Maine on the new changes to the energy code portion of our requirements. So Maine has adopted and currently operating under the 2015 energy codes, and which was a huge jump, obviously, for many people from 2009 and then having it mandated, right? We will soon be operating under the 2021 energy code, and our course has shifted to providing those updates for people. So the class is, as I mentioned, a full day. It is made for new builders, well-experienced builders, homeowners attend. We've had over 190 people attend this past year, and there was a huge range of ability and experience from those attendees, and everybody tends to leave with some valuable information. So one thing that we find that's beneficial with all of our courses is our presenters. We tend to have multiple presenters at each course. They are live and in person, and it gives a great way for to have different interaction during the class and allow, we do get off topic. We do dig down into the building science and geek out on things. So a lot of times that does become fun for everybody involved, and then we can get back on schedule and get through our presentations. One part of our energy code training, what we try to do is go over the basic requirements, and then we present on different techniques and approaches to solve our problems. One of the biggest things that we cover and emphasize is the ability to plan ahead, which becomes a huge important part when we start thinking about a lot of these energy requirements and air tightness, and trying to meet those levels and not knowing how to do it and not been there in the experience. So planning ahead is one thing that we do focus on quite a bit, and whose responsibility different things should be, and how can we address all those things ahead of time with proper planning. So Meeting Maine's Energy Code is our main training. We also offer Planning a Maine Retrofit as a class. It's again a one day training. Is one day enough time to talk about how to plan a retrofit with all our different types of buildings in Maine? Probably not, but we can try to get the basics in place, so you can assess your retrofit, create a master plan moving forward, and thinking about your entire project as a whole, not just depending on room by room as you plan to retrofit, but to think ahead. If you're doing just your kitchen, how is that going to affect the entire building as you move through your home? Or if maybe you're doing the whole thing at once, what are some of the challenges that we're going to face and ways that we can overcome those challenges? So that is a class that we ran 4 times last year, and we do some interaction with that class. We do go through a work example and have you pull out the red pens and start marking up plans, and thinking ahead, and generate a lot of good discussion with multiple options and solving many different problems. So Maine has one of the oldest building stocks in the state, and it's going to be a huge importance for us to start updating those, to start meeting a lot of our carbon goals here in the state of Maine. So the last regular training that we offer is a high performance components training. It's focused on, we begin talking about triple pane windows, ERVs, HRVs, building membranes and tapes, well, how do these things get installed? How do we start thinking about each of those components individually and start putting them together? So it's focused on being a little bit more hands-on. It gives you ability to install a triple pane European window with no flanges, and learn how to prep a sill and tape the window off to make a continuous air barrier. So that is that training. So go ahead, that's next slide. So as I mentioned, all our trainings, we do have a great team of trainers that participate at all of it, from experienced designers and builders to energy auditors and code officials. And so we have a variety. So you could attend one class and then attend a different one and get a totally different take on it and gain different information. So it's great for me. I get to listen to them all, so I get all the different opinions. So but we have a lot of great presenters. You can learn more about them. They're on our website. And as I mentioned, you can see in the right hand photos here, we go to places and bring the builders to us, and you can see we've held trainings in a yurt in Saco. We've been to Timber HP, held a training there in conjunction with doing a factory tour as part of the training. But you can see we've got blower door demonstrations, so we're getting up and actually doing stuff. We've got, discussing thermal cameras, and then you can see a piece of our cheat sheet that if you attend the class, we do have a little energy code cheat sheet for everybody to follow, and it gives anybody just the tidbit of information that you need to know, and a link to where to find those type of things. So go ahead, next slide. So what's next for us for Passive House Maine? We are holding a Woman in Buildings training in Freeport is our next training on January 26th. So I believe, I don't believe, I know Anna is going to be one of our presenters as well as we have Meredith Randolph coming, and Savea doing blower door tests. So that will be a great event. We've actually got a pretty decent registration numbers already coming in. So you can follow that little QR code if you are interested in signing up for that. It'll be in Freeport, 1-day event. We'll provide lunch, and I'm sure a lot of good conversation. In addition, we'll have some great learning opportunity at our forum. Our annual Passive House Maine Forum is coming up February 15th through 17th. A lot of different panel discussions going on at that event regarding carbon, around training, around a lot of different things. So you can go to our forums website from that link attached, and you can attend. Anybody can attend as an attendee, and all that information is there. Typically, you can also find us throughout the year. We do have a booth and usually a presentation at the Green Home and Energy Show in April, which is always a good turnout, right? We're at the Common Ground Fair regularly, the Orno Energy Efficiency Fair. We've been at the Maine Indoor Air Quality Conference. So all great things, place to find me, ask questions about trainings, and meet anybody with Passive House Maine. Our 2024 training dates are to the right. You can see, as I mentioned, we do go everywhere. So we'll begin in April and pretty much have one a month until December, and covering just about every corner of the state. So all those registrations are live and open on our website, so you can follow that link and find that. So and then obviously follow along with everything that we're doing on our social media. You can see Instagram and Facebook there. You can find that's where we are pretty regularly. And then also we are a membership-based organization. So feel free to take a look at our membership benefits, and a lot of the resources that we provide are all on our website also. So it's a great way to find us. In addition, we have some exciting news about a grant we received last year, and we're working to develop a pretty cool training program focused on retrofits at a which will involve a lot of hands-on type of learning activity and show and tell type of things. So that's an exciting thing that we'll have a lot more information coming on as the year develops. So we're pretty excited to see where that goes. So with that, I think we'll wrap it up on our end.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Randy. You are doing really, really exciting work at Passive House Maine. And I think the fact that you have had close to 200 people go through your training programs in a year is just super, super impressive. It's fantastic that you are able to offer those for $25 and all over the state, really removing barriers for everybody to be able to attend. So some exciting stuff. And I'm registered for that Women in Building session the end of this month. So I'm looking forward to that.
Perfect.
And yeah, so let's turn it over to Anna and hear a little bit more about the We Built This program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. My name is Anna Heath. I started working as a carpentry apprentice 6 years ago, with absolutely no idea what I was getting myself into, and went through kind of a 2-year apprenticeship, moved up in ranks to where I am now, and along the way, we started hiring more women and adding more gender diversity to the crew, and that camaraderie, the shared experience was something that I couldn't have created without those people. And in that experience, I realized that one of the biggest barriers to entry in the trades is not seeing people who look like yourself there, whatever that may be. And so these workshops were born out of that. The first one was in 2020, and we wanted to create a space where people who were maybe traditionally excluded from the trades felt welcome. So Rain, if you want to change to the next slide. We came together and we made a intro to carpentry workshop, with the first day being power tool intensive. You learn how to build sawhorses with a bunch of different fancy miter cuts and angles. You get to use every single one of the power tools in our arsenal except maybe a router on that first day. And then you'll come back the second day and you get to build your own toolbox from a plan set, partner up, and you work together, and you get to take something home with you. And the camaraderie and the intentionality that every single person brought, their own experiences, their own backgrounds, their own needs. Some people were in the trades looking for connections. Some people were hobbyists. Some people were homeowners or property owners who wanted to enhance their skills and be able to take care of those properties. It was such a mix of motivations. It was such a mix of personalities, and yet everybody was emotionally open and vulnerable and engaged and excited and energetic. And it almost felt like Santa's workshop as people were picking away on their projects. And every single workshop since then has produced the same energy. We've had very different crowds of people. We're really intentional about opening it up to as many people as possible, moving around the state and offering opportunities in different locations, which I'll get into a little bit more later. But we also want to make sure it's affordable. And one of the overwhelming and encouraging things that I've experienced in organizing these workshops is we've had so many sponsors and donors and champions of our cause that a ton of really cool collaborations have come out since. So we've run our intro to carpentry workshop 3 times since 2020, but we've also run a number of really cool specialty workshops with industry hosts who are sharing their spaces, who are sharing their tools, like depths of knowledge. And it's been a really cool way to move around the state, to learn different topics and to access so much skill and information. Next slide, please. Above all, I think this organization is people focused. We're really open to feedback. We're really open to collaboration. We're really open to growth and change to make a space that people feel comfortable learning in. We have a really diverse instructor network as well. So our participants are super diverse, but they're also learning from people who might look like them or might have the same identities as them. And that's been super great to watch that engagement. It's also been very, very exciting to see what those experiences do and bring to their instruction. And above all, we're working towards providing access to the trades for as many people as possible, because diversification is essential, especially where we're facing a labor shortage in this industry, and where so many people with so much skill are moving into retirement and leaving the trades. So now is the time to capture that and pass on as much as we can. It's a really, really cool, I hope, stepping stone for a lot of people to get their feet wet, to give it a try, to make friends and meet a network, someone they could call up on the weekend and say, I'm building a deck. You want to come on over and help me? I don't know how to do stairs. So it has a lot of breath and life. Right? Do you want to do the next slide? So far we've done 16 workshops. There have been 123 unique registrants. A handful of people are repeats, which is really wonderful to see. We've actually had a number of people who have taken the courses teach courses, which I really love to see. We have 15 instructors across the state that are actively engaged with producing new content for everybody. And we've had a bunch of really awesome hosts. And the way that we keep our workshops affordable is by partnering with host organizations. It means we are mobile. We've had workshops in Portland. We've had workshops in Bryant Pond. We've had workshops in Norway, Falmouth. We've been able to move around the state because we have access to those spaces. It means a person who doesn't look like a typical tradesperson is put into an industry space, and maybe makes an impression on those hosts as well for potential for hiring in the future. We've had, I think, 1 person get hired out of the program, and I think we've had maybe 3 or 4 job offers made. I'm not sure if they followed up on them, which is really exciting for our mission. Next slide, please. The kind of bread and butter of what we offer is the introduction to carpentry. So we do the sawhorses, we do the toolboxes. We've done 3 so far. They've all been hosted in Bryant Pond, because the space is really great. It's the Maine Passive House barn. So I know where all the tools are, and I like that for this workshop. What we're hoping to do with this workshop is create a series. maybe 5 or 6 parts to it. We're working this year, we have grant funding to develop the second part in the series. And we're also hoping to collaborate with a couple organizations in the state to make it a state sanctioned pre-apprenticeship as an opportunity for people to bring something with some clout to a potential employer and say, hey, I've done this thing. I know I'm interested in this world in carpentry. You don't have to worry about me leaving in a month because I've got some exposure now, and I'd like it if you invested in me and taught me and took me on as an apprentice. So it's a great workshop, and it's a really great way to enter and start from the ground up with power tools and safe practices for using them and reading plans. Next slide, please. As I mentioned before, we also do a handful of specialty workshops. Last spring, we collaborated with the Portland Free Pantry, which is a mobile food pantry on the back of a trailer, and in 3 weekends we managed to build a small house essentially that they've been moving around town and serving different communities in Portland. So that was really great. People got to learn framing basics. They got to learn standing seam metal roofing, which was such a cool random thing. Siding, trim. We got to do a retreat. This was our most expensive workshop. Most of our workshops are, the intro to carpentry is $85 for 2 days. We offer sponsorships and scholarships if you need them. The tent platform, which is the one on the right, was a retreat style. So you got room and board. And we built a tent and learned a tent platform and learned some framing basics for Evans Notch Lodge. So that was more expensive. That's the most expensive we've done. The joinery workshop, our collaborations with Opus One, where we get to build beautiful furniture pieces in a really nice woodworking utopia. I think that one was 125 or something like that. So we really try to keep those costs as low as possible and make it as accessible for everybody as we can. Next one. You can follow along at the website. We do have a couple upcoming courses. We try to do 5 or 6 every year. We always try to do the Intro to Carpentry workshop once a year. And coming up is a furniture workshop with Opus One. And we're also building a stool that has a caning element so that you can then go to a caning workshop and learn how to do caned webbing on that stool. You're also open to join if you just have an old antique chair that you want to refinish and recane. And we'll be posting more soon. We have a really cool collaboration in the works, hopefully for a timber frame project down in Gray. So stay tuned. Next slide, please. And you can follow along. Feel free to email me at any time. We have a website, so you can click around there and find more information. If you're interested in hosting, if you're interested in suggesting a workshop idea, all of that can be done through the website. If you're interested in donating or sponsoring, all of that is through our fiscal sponsor, the Center for Ecology-Based Economy, so it is tax deductible. And we also have an Instagram where most of the marketing happens. You can join our email list as well to get early bird access to classes. I think that's everything.
All right. Thank you so much, Anna, and forgive me for calling you Anna earlier in the program. Wow, I'm so impressed with the work that you're doing, and clearly the just open-hearted, welcoming spirit of the program comes through as you talk about it. It just sounds like a really beautiful experience for people who go through it. So thank you for bringing that to Maine and to all of us. In addition to the programs we heard about in detail tonight, I did want to share a few more construction training opportunities in Maine, one outside of Maine. If you are looking for something more, these are pulled from an article that ran in the Green and Healthy Maine Homes magazine a few years ago. So hoping everything is still up to date, but Shelter Institute in Wiscasset, Yestermorrow Design Build School in Vermont, and the community colleges have construction training programs. So that's a nice opportunity if you're looking for something a little bit more in depth. And lastly, I did put a plug in there for the BS and Beer Show. If you're interested in learning more about these topics, BS meaning building science, and Beer Show is a monthly online talk show that was inspired by the building science discussion groups here in Maine, and now it's national. And so people all over the country participate as presenters and participants in that program. And it's always really good conversations, usually a little higher level professional topics, but super interesting. So I did want to share that. And a note that there have been lots of really great QR codes and links in the slides tonight. So we will share those in a follow-up email with the recording. So if you missed anything as we were going through, we will be sure to share that. So you'll have access to that again. And two more plugs. I think Randy mentioned the upcoming Green Home and Energy Show, which is happening April 6th. That's another great place if you're looking for some educational opportunities. We have 4 tracks of workshops throughout the day with 20 plus different presentations, and those are all free with admission. And then, of course, all the exhibitors to speak with throughout the day. And lastly, we record all of these home and energy chat sessions that we do. So we have well over 20 that are on our website now. So that's another place to look for educational content if you are interested. So let's see, let's shift into, I know we're running out of time. Might it be okay to bump this about 10 minutes longer? Sorry to put you guys on the spot, but to be able to fit in a few questions. Yeah. Okay. So at this point, let's shift to some questions. The first one I want to ask is, what questions should a homeowner be asking their potential contractors about the education that they have to know that they're getting somebody who's really qualified to do the work? I'm going to start with Christy, but certainly all of you, I'd love to hear from all of you if you have something to add to that. But Christy, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a question that I actually had asked that I think everybody can weigh in on, and I would imagine those in the audience might have some thoughts too. But it just seems to me that homeowners could really push the envelope if they were really working with their contractors almost as a partnership for having the contractors help them achieve their goals. So, I mean, I think everybody's goal here is healthy and energy efficient and comfortable and easy to maintain. But I think working with the contractor to sort of discuss their philosophy and making sure that it meshes with your goals. So the question, I mean, it's not really a question that you would ask the contractor, but maybe it's more of a conversation that you really need to have with the contractor, and recognize that sometimes contractors may not have knowledge about something that you've learned about. Maybe you're a homeowner on this webinar and you want to make sure that you're getting a healthy, environmentally sustainable home, and you're doing some digging into some of the content that we're offering. Maybe the question is, maybe you should ask the contractor if they would be willing to go to one of these trainings, you know, and maybe support that for them to help make it happen. So just some thoughts about making sure that your goals mesh with who you're hiring to do your work so that your core goals don't get lost, you know, because the contractor's going to have their rote things that they do on a regular basis. So.
Yes, Christy, I'll definitely agree with you on that. And So anytime that you can ask a builder, you know, what they've done for continuing education, because the industry changes so much, that I think that goes a long way. I go to one of our trainings and I learn something new every day. So it's, you know, it's an evolving community, and you know, that simple question, you know, obviously in the state of Maine, we don't have any licensing requirements for contractors. So it's hard to have contractors do that continuing education. So the ones that are, I think, you know, can at least answer some of your questions or go deeper into um, solving some of your problems.
Absolutely.
I would say, help me understand is a good question to ask. And I also would
Mhm.
say it's much like healthcare, where you probably have to do more research than you want to before you embark on this relationship with your contractor. And so going in with, you know, 10 ideas and then saying, look, I found this article on fine home building and I really think this would be a cool detail. Have you done this before? And then if they can engage with that, then you're probably engaging with a contractor who's open to new ideas, who's on top of their trainings, who's engaged with what's coming and what's new, or with you as a client. And I think that if they say, "No, you don't want that, you don't want that, you don't want that," then I don't know if you want them.
Good
That's a
point.
great, that's a great point, because if they're even if they don't know, if you've asked them a question about and it's something that's important to you and they don't know, but if they're willing to, you know, learn more about it to be able to help you, um, that's okay for a builder not to know. But if they're willing to learn and go find more information, I think that's important.
A good sign. We want them to learn. I think we, at least Anna mentioned scholarships. Are there scholarships or reduced fees available for the other programs? I know they're all fairly economical to begin with, but is that something that's an option if the cost is a barrier for anyone?
Yeah,
And
absolutely, especially through the Alphon Foundation. They're still doing support. So homeowners, contractors, everybody who's a Maine resident can access up to $1,200 of training funds that will pay each time for 50% of your training expense. So whether it's a community college course, whether it's a We Built This session, whether it's what Randy's doing, as long as it sort of falls in that general professional development category, Alphon supports the registration fee by 50%, and you can access a total of $1,200 per year
What a
for
great resource.
anything.
Huh.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing
And I
that.
would add that anybody that has any barriers or any issues, just reach out and ask.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I would believe that most of our organizations are more interested in getting the information to the people, and we'd find ways to make it accessible.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we do the exact same thing. I don't ever want a registration fee to be a barrier to someone's desire to get education. So,
Awesome. Couple questions for people who are just beginning, just starting out. This one is, what would you recommend for someone interested in making a career change and moving into the high performance construction industry? What's the best place to start? Sounds like any of these programs are a good place to start. Do you have any other tips or suggestions?
You did mention the National BS and Beer, but we do here in Orono have our local chapter of BS and Beer, and we have a great turnout. New people come every week, so it's interesting. We don't have a regular turnout, and we're all very supportive throughout, you know, all our conversations that we have, and actually continue conversations outside of the group, and help support each other. So it's a great way that if it's something new you're interested in, and there's plenty of brains to pick when you come to an event like that, but any event where you can do any type of networking, I think is huge.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Also recommend the Pretty Good House book. It's a really great access point, I think, and it's local authors, which is really super cool. They were part of the BSMB Portland chapter, so.
Yep. They are awesome.
I think there's also a group out in, I think they're out of Colorado, but they have a huge online presence, and it's called Construction Instruction. And they are a really great resource for people looking to things. But any of the community colleges doing education too. If you're really just wanting to know how, residential construction and construction industry generally, it's a great resource.
Those are some helpful tips. Are you finding many homeowners attending your trainings? I think, Christy, you said you do get some homeowners attending yours. Anna and Randy, do you find homeowners attending as well? Well, probably, for sure you do, Anna.
One thing that I found is that with our code builder class, I would say 1 in 15 was a homeowner. Obviously, we were primarily code enforcement officers and builders, but that's what's great about our class size numbers. We have the flexibility and the experience to be able to understand our audience and be able to make sure it's appropriate for everyone. With the code builder one, with our retrofit one, I've found that it's pretty much 50-50 with who we have attending. So, people are interested in their own retrofits and being able to help push that along, because a lot of times they're doing the DIY approach. So.
Yeah, it's exciting to hear about the new program rolling out too on the retrofits, because there is a lot more retrofits happening than new builds happening. So that is very helpful. Okay, so I think at this point we're going to shift. So thank you again to Christy, Randy, and Anna for joining us tonight. This was super, super informative, and hopefully it was inspiring to some folks who were watching and will watch in the future. And I think we shared a lot of really great tips. So thank you. We're lucky in Maine to have so many great programs. Thank you again to our sponsors, Royal River Heat Pumps and Senecal Construction Services. Thank you to Rain Rayner, who has been managing everything behind the scenes so beautifully. You can learn more about future sessions of the Home and Energy Chats on our website. There's also an opportunity to sign up for our newsletter there and stay connected on all of the things that we're doing. If you do have questions that we did not get to today, we will include contact information in the follow-up email and also a link to the recording, and it will be available on our website in the next couple of days. Lastly, you'll see a brief survey pop up at the end. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear any ideas you have for future programming, either for a home and energy chat, or as we mentioned, for any of the programs that we learned about today. They're always looking for new topic ideas, so we'd love to hear those. So thanks again, everyone, and look forward to having you join us at another chat in the future. So thanks again, Christy and Anna and Randy. That was incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Bye-bye.